Hey, welcome back to Yellowhammer Radio, Superstation 101 WYDE. I am Scott Chambers.
I'm Andrea Tice.
And it is time for the final 30 with the Hollywood conservative, Miss Amanda Head. You can follow her on Twitter at TheHWCON. What's up, Amanda Head? Welcome into Yellowhammer Radio.
Hi, happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you.
Yes, I'm especially excited for you, Amanda, because you texted us some topics you wanted to talk about, which meant that your phone is up and running and you're back in business.
Finally, yes. I finally figured out the confusion, miscommunication between T-Mobile and Verizon. I think it was actually more on the part of T-Mobile, and they're like, your phone's unlocked, and it wasn't. And then we went back to them, and they're like, yeah, it's unlocked. Apparently it takes in my case, it took 48 hours for it to get unlocked. But it finally did, so I'm back and up and rolling.
Yeah, you were having all kinds of cell phone issues last week, so thankfully it's all worked out now.
Yes.
All worked out now. So what's going on in Hollywood today, Amanda?
Oh, my goodness. Always lots of things going on. I sent you guys an article about the former Power Rangers, the red guy.
I remember the red dude, yeah.
Yeah, the red dude's going to prison.
What?
Yes,
He's going to be wearing a red jumpsuit.
Yeah. I hope that the red still looks good on him because he's going to be, yeah.
How old is he now, by the way?
38.
He's 38 years old now.
No, oh my gosh, I'm getting old. Like really old.
I know, isn't that crazy?
That is nuts. The Red Power Ranger's 38 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was in the early 90s when that came out?
Yeah, something like that. Early
I don't know.
90s.
Power Rangers wasn't my joint. I was more like G.I. Joe and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I did have two older brothers, so the boy stuff did sink in with me, but not Power Rangers. So anyway, so he's been sentenced to 6 years in prison. He pled guilty to one count of voluntary manslaughter for stabbing his roommate, Josh Sutter. Apparently they were living together, and
That doesn't really, it doesn't mix in my mind. A manslaughter always implies some sort of involuntary accident or neglect, but stabbing seems to have some intent. You have a knife in your hand.
Well, actually, it wasn't a knife. It was a sword.
A sword that makes
Go Power Rangers! Ugh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Was he reliving he was reliving an episode in his dreams or something?
I don't know, but at least he's staying in character. Yeah, that seems kind of contradictory, voluntary manslaughter. But yeah, so it was an argument over his girlfriend, Medina's girlfriend, not the victim. And yeah, I guess he unsheathed his weapon and tried to slice this guy. So anyway, yeah, going away for 6 years.
Wow.
And let's see, what else? Okay, so you guys, Starbucks apparently got the message loud and clear. Now, I still don't buy Starbucks. I don't buy their coffee in the grocery store. I don't purchase their beverages.
Oh, they get plenty of my money. Plenty of my money.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this last time, Amanda, and there was a reason. It stems from an earlier incident, not this whole thing with the refugees, correct?
Yes. So they made a commitment, I guess, to hire 10,000 veterans and military associates by 2018. And thankfully, they have exceeded their goal. And so they've set a new goal to hire 25,000 by 2025. So, money talks, and people have been speaking with their pocketbooks. And apparently Howard Schultz, who was their uber liberal CEO, heard everybody loud and clear.
Yeah. Even though he announced he was going to step down, they made the changes. Apparently, the whole push for refugees was not inciting a sense of loyalty,
right,
for people buying their coffee.
Yeah, see, I'm cool with him hiring the veterans. That's cool. Hiring the refugees, not so much. But which, by the way, that's nothing more than a play for Starbucks, by the way. That way they said they would hire 10,000 refugees over the next 5 years. If you look over at the turnover rate of the baristas there, and that's worldwide, Starbucks essentially was doing nothing. That was just a, hey, look at us. We're awesome people. That's all that was. I mean, that's all it was.
Yeah.
And
I'll
go ahead, Amanda.
I was just going to say it'll be interesting to see which one they hold closer to their commitment, as far as if they actually will hire. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to make a commitment to these refugees And it just doesn't make sense. Now, the veterans thing, absolutely. And apparently they are opening up new Starbucks venues near military bases so that these people can get those jobs and get to work there more easily. So that's great, too. I'll be interested to see if that actually comes to fruition as well. I take everything that they say with a grain of salt at this point.
Yeah, you're right. It makes a lot more practical business sense just to employ veterans, people that are engaged in the American culture and want the coffee. How do we even know with refugees whether that is even remotely in their interest? Never mind the fact that I think the American public, and certainly the voters for Trump, have gotten really tired of all the virtue signaling that's going on out there with these businesses making these claims, basically almost a self-righteous. We're so much better. We're so much more in tune to the needs of these, people are tired of it.
Well, it's this liberal white elitist, these white people who are standing up for social injustices of minorities. And, people, white celebrities who are tweeting things about, how they want white genocide to happen. And it's like, are you an idiot? Because, a lot of times, and I think we talked about
to answer your question in short, heck yeah, they're idiots. They're idiots.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Simply put, done, move on.
when people were complaining about Washington Redskins, cultural appropriation, yada, 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 who was it complaining about it? White people.
Right. Yeah. The thing that I've noticed on Twitter and Facebook and different social media sites is the resurgence of the word fascist. And it's all coming from a bunch of Democrat liberals who never even knew how to identify a fascist 1 year ago, let alone wanted them to actually be eliminated from, American culture. But now all of a sudden Trump's a fascist and we got to go out and make sure fascism doesn't prevail. And it's just absurd, the level to which they're all of a sudden anti-fascist.
Yeah, those are some awfully big words for those little liberal millennials out there.
Yeah, and it's funny that people who are crying fascism foul are, in fact, the fascists themselves.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Because isn't that all about controlling government, taking control? And, were they screaming anti-fascism when Obama took over 1/6 of the economy with Obamacare? No.
No, didn't hear about that, did you?
Not.
Yeah.
No, of course not.
Didn't hear about that. So, yeah, plenty seems to be going on in Hollywood, and we've got plenty going on here in Alabama, too. Just be glad you're in Hollywood. You're not here in Alabama, actually, because this whole LoveGov situation is nuts. Are you following that from Hollywood these days?
Are there new revelations with the LoveGov?
Not so much revelations as the process is moving a little further down where there's maybe we'll actually have a resolution in a couple of months. Maybe.
The resolution being what?
Impeachment. Get him impeached. We'll find out next week what's going to happen with that. And also, he has been in the hospital. I guess the new revelation was he was hospitalized twice in the past couple of weeks for irregular heartbeats. So he's got a breaking heart, Amanda. His heart's breaking.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of irregularities with his heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amanda, when I come in and do the news before the show, the radio program, I see a lot of headlines cross my path, depending on all the sites I go to. And I can't help but notice that some of these national websites, they do seem to gravitate towards Alabama with certain headlines. I don't hear other states like Iowa or Nebraska getting these headlines, and maybe we deserve it. I don't know.
Let's see. Maybe because here in Alabama, we have representatives come up with bills like HB 428 that says we're going to block porn on your cell phones. I mean, maybe that could be why. Maybe that could be why. Let's be honest, because that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
I didn't see a headline on that, but I sure did see the headline about the guy who was arrested here in Alabama and a gun fell out of his buttocks because he was trying to hide a gun.
Wait. Time out. We can get back to the Jack Williams legislation in a moment. I mean, he gets a free pass. Explain a little bit more, please.
Oh, come on. You haven't read that?
No. A guy was arrested and had a gun up.
Yeah, well,
there?
Yeah, sort of, or partially. I don't know the details. You didn't read this story? Oh, my gosh. I assumed that you would have seen it. It made it on Fox News.
Somehow I missed this story. Where did this happen at?
Amanda, did you hear this story?
No, but I'm loving every second of it.
Please tell me this happened in Calhoun County. Please tell me. I know it did.
I didn't. I don't know if I could find the story while we're talking, but yeah, it happened here in Alabama. Young guy got arrested, and the officer was getting ready to search him and thought the guy maybe possibly had defecated in his pants, but he got a little closer and said, no, actually, that's a gun.
Oh, my, that's a stinky situation.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, pun intended.
Now, now, I really didn't want to bring this story up per se, but
please be careful using that word.
You're out in Hollywood, okay? And do you get the sense in your time there that Alabama is targeted for whenever a story comes up, they're going to blare it from the rooftop because it's Alabama, and it just adds to the stereotype?
Of course. People love to pick on Alabama. In fact, whenever I'm having a conversation with someone and they ask me where I'm from and I say Alabama, there's always some snarky comment like, are you a product of incest?
Oh, my goodness.
All this. Yeah, and I'm like, seriously, like, it takes a voluminous amount of ignorance to assume that in 2017 that's a thing. And, someone of my esteemed intelligence, really, sorry, my mom and my dad are not my aunt and my uncle.
Well, see, here's the thing, Amanda. When people ask me that, I just say, hold on a second. Let me grab my phone and let me call up Uncle Dad. That's what I say. That's what I say.
Oh boy, he's not helping.
If you want to hear something funny, are we about to go to break?
We are. We're about to head to break. I just tell him Uncle Dad is trying to put indoor plumbing in our home for the first time in our life, and that usually shuts him down.
I have an Uncle Dad story after the break.
Oh,
okay.
I can't wait to hear this. Our guest is Amanda Head, the Hollywood Conservative. You can check her out online at thehollywoodconservative.us or follow her on Twitter at TheHWCon. Amanda Head will continue on in the final 30 here on Yellowhammer Radio right after this. Hey, welcome back to Yellowhammer Radio, Superstation 101 WYDE. She is Andrea Tice. I am Scott Chambers. Big Dave Richardson on the ones and twos, and joined by the Hollywood Conservative, Amanda Head. Now, as we were headed to break, Amanda, you said you had an Uncle Dad story to share?
Yeah.
Do tell.
So my oldest brother became a part of my family via the Tennessee Baptist Children's Home. And he, this was back when I was, how old? I think I was just barely being born. I think he actually became a part of our family before I was born. But
okay.
Jeff is adopted. But it's not something I bring up in conversation. When I introduce him, he's my brother.
Right.
There's not really any differentiation between my biological brother, Alan, and my adopted brother, Jeff. So Jeff, when he was growing up, it was kind of a gradual process that he became a part of our family. He started hanging out with us. Do you know the program RAs and GAs?
Absolutely, at church. Most Baptist churches have them.
So at our church in Nashville, Tennessee, Jeff was a part of the RA program. And he and my dad just had a very, very special connection. So Jeff started coming to hang out with our family for holidays, and then he started coming to our lake house with us for the summers, and he just gradually became a part of our family. But because it wasn't like a cut and dry, okay, now you're a part of our family, like a lot of adoption processes are, he called my parents Uncle Ralph and Aunt Kathy.
Oh, boy.
So, yes. But he considers my parents mom and dad, as
Sure.
I consider him my brother. So it's very interesting to see the reactions of people when he introduces them. This is my mom and dad, Uncle Ralph and Aunt Kathy.
It's okay. We're from Alabama. It's fine.
If you're from Alabama, you'll understand.
It's all good.
So it's interesting, but he's a wonderful addition to our family, and I can't imagine life without him. So, So if people want to assume incest, whatever.
It happens.
Well,
it's part of the price we pay for being from the great state of Alabama.
Yeah, and being a transplant to Alabama, Amanda, I do notice when we got here that a lot of Alabamians have a good sense of humor. They don't take themselves too seriously. They understand what they're up against with the stereotype, but that's what people in the North choose to do, and you just go on with life and live it to the fullest. But it sure seems
because there's a level of confidence with Southerners in our culture, and we know. There among all of the different cultures and regions in the U.S., we probably have one of the most historically and culturally rich regions. And so, if you want to make fun of us a little, that's fine, but we're Southerners, so we know we're better than you.
Yeah.
Oh, I think those are fighting words for a lot of people around the country.
Well, I don't know. I think you might be right. But one thing's for sure. I came across this story recently, Amanda, that it seems to me that the Democrats are moving into a new phase, and I'm going to call it transhumorless, because they're losing any ability to laugh at themselves. I mean, really. Did you see the story where Steve Mnuchin was asked about what movie he would promote or recommend? And, he used to be in Hollywood doing movies or financing them, right?
Right, yes. So he has a production group. I can't remember what it's called, but it's he and some other people. I'm looking for it. Rat Pack Dune Entertainment Holdings, LLC. So he has this production group, and they've done movies like the Lego movie, the Lego Batman movie. They also did Mad Max Fury Road, which I absolutely loved.
Awesome, yeah.
So he was formerly involved with them. He actually he distanced himself from it when he became a part of the Trump administration. But he was pressed on a question last week when he was giving an interview where they were saying, what movie should you see? And he made a joke because they kept pressing him. He said, I'm not allowed to promote anything that I'm involved in. So I just want to have the legal disclosure. You've asked me the question, and I'm not promoting any product, but you should send all your kids to see Lego Batman.
Yeah, I know.
And Democrats are going nuts. They want to file an investigation.
Well, they did that to Ivanka. Let's not forget when Kellyanne Conway, they went all nuts on Kellyanne when she's like, buy Ivanka stuff. So. Right.
So, but the thing is Mnuchin has divested himself from his share of the Rat Pack Dune, financials. But yeah, they've fired an investigation, and it's like, oh my gosh, you people seriously, you're right, Andrea, they have literally no sense of humor.
No sense of humor. Apparently, this Democrat Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, out your way, he went to the Office of Government Ethics begging the director to launch a full investigation into whether Mnuchin was engaging in a conflict of interest.
Wow.
He not only divested himself from the Hollywood aspect of his job in the financials, but then he made a very clear legal statement before he said anything about the Hollywood movie. In fact, we have the audio. We're just going to play it just so people understand what he did to cover his butt. And still these people couldn't lay off.
And what's a movie that we should see?
Well, I'm not allowed to promote anything that I'm involved in, so I just want to have the legal disclosure. You've asked me the question, and I am not promoting any product. But you should send all your kids to Lego Batman.
Yes!
So there you go. Good. Everybody's laughing. They understand it's not anything but to be taken lightly. And then this one Democrat just ran out, spotting an investigation. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed that the press actually had a sense of humor about this and chuckled. Generally the mainstream media and the Democrats go hand in hand when it comes to a very, very minimal level of humor.
Yeah.
They thought it was funny, and they got the joke, and they got that he was covering his family legally and financially. So, oh my gosh, people, come on. But his Mnuchin's office released a statement that said, as his statements reflect, the secretary clearly recognized that he generally may not promote private interests and specifically gave the legal disclosure that he was not promoting a movie, but answering a question he was asked directly.
Yeah.
And it's basically like, hello, people, seriously, get a life.
Yeah,
really?
They really do. They need to get a life. I mean, if you want to get super serious and technical, okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Maybe he shouldn't have said that, but it was a freaking joke. Let it go. What was wrong with what he said? I don't find where that's really wrong.
Not only was it a joke, lighthearted, but he was answering a question, and it's a matter of opinion. And he was offering his opinion, and the very people that go around screaming about First Amendment rights are trying to make that some sort of criminal activity.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just because you are an elected official or you're an appointed official and you're not allowed to promote certain things doesn't mean you don't still have opinions. We all have opinions.
But this is so indicative of the hysteria of the left. They are trying to find anything and everything. And to be fair, we did this a lot with Obama, but I just don't, and maybe this is just my clouded, judgment, but I feel like we didn't do it to the extent that the Democrats are doing it, like just grasping at straws, trying to find every little thing that they can investigate and try to, it's trying to nail Jello to the wall. All of this stuff is just ridiculous, superfluous news stories. But, of course, the mainstream media latches onto it, and they're like, oh, can you believe that Steve Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary, this is not his place. I can't believe it. It's awful, awful, awful corruption. And,
it makes me want to go see the Lego Batman movie again. Seriously.
Yeah, most of the American public is like, oh, okay, whatevs.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go watch it again just for fun, just to help him out now.
I think the senator from Oregon needs to go and get a good laugh and lighten up. My goodness. At what point, Amanda, do you think this whole we're watching this whole boy who cried wolf parable, if you will, play out with the press and the Democrats? They just keep setting off the alarms after another. I mean, Trump's a fascist. We're about to be taken over. I mean, they just keep.
Well, this is the thing, because they keep making these ridiculous accusations. I mean, it's already happened. The boy who cried wolf implications for the left have already taken place because it's Russia corruption. It's it's this story. It's one thing after another that continues to be non-news. So if something ever does come about that is legitimate, most of America is going to be like, okay, so what? You lied about everything else. You made a big deal out of everything else.
Yep.
This is just not a big deal.
Yeah, you're right. And the scary thing is, if Russia wanted to make a play on this, because we're at a vulnerable point when it comes to trust and credibility, now would be the time.
Absolutely.
No question. Well, Amanda, it's been a pleasure having you on as we do each and every Friday for the Final 30. You can check Amanda out online at thehollywoodconservative.us. Follow her on Twitter, TheHWCon. Amanda, we will chat again next Friday.
Always good to have you on.
My pleasure. You guys have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, the Mouth of the South. It's Amanda Head there. Well, Andrea, we are wrapping that one up. Final thoughts before we go.
Oh, have a great weekend. That's all I can say.
Mine is
no snakes.
No snakes?
No.
Never forget where you came from. If so, you might not find your way back home.